You're watching Good Day New York from the most powerful name in local news, Fox 5 News.
Welcome back. Well, in December of 2005, Bob Woodruff, the ABC journalist, earned his dream job, co-anchor of the network's evening broadcast. It was a job he would hold for less than 2 months. Woodruff would routinely anchor the broadcast from the world's hotspots. And in January of '06, while reporting from Iraq, he nearly lost his life in an IED explosion. He suffered a TBI, a traumatic brain injury. The experience transformed Bob. It transformed his family. Lee Woodruff, Bob's wife, is an author and has become very active in working to help U.S. service members who have been fighting our nation's wars overseas. And she is also the author of Perfectly Imperfect. Welcome to the show, Lee Woodruff.
Thank you. It's great to be back again.
A lot of folks would like to help the soldiers. How can they? The soldiers and Marines who are coming back with these horrible injuries.
Well, we have started a foundation, the Bob Woodruff Foundation, remind.org. And what we do is we use the attention that Bob and our family got to turn around, raise funds, and then give donations to little groups on the ground. So you can go to remind.org and you can give. And if you're a Twitterer, and I know you guys have a whole...
We talk about
That's right. You can sign up, tweet to remind.org, or tweet to remind, and you can sign up to PayPal. And every time you tweet, $1 goes to help a wounded family.
Tell us a little bit about TBI. A lot of folks realize people come back with perhaps post-traumatic stress. They come back without a leg, without an arm, amputees, but a lot of folks aren't familiar with TBI.
Traumatic brain injury, the most common injury of this war. 320,000 of our troops will come back. And for the most part, they're often wounds you don't see. So it's the stress, as you said, of combat stress. It's maybe having been in a situation where you had to do something, hurt somebody. The tension of living with that kind of anxiety 24/7 in Iraq and Afghanistan creates different patterns in the mind. And so if someone comes back depressed, angry, different personality, you may not know it looking at them from the outside, but there are ways to help and there are therapies.
It really did transform your family. You write about it in part in your new book, Perfectly Imperfect, a book about your family, a book I think that men and perhaps mostly women will benefit from. It's an interesting book. Tell me about it.
We don't like to call it a chick book, but it is. Chicklet. It's actually about all the roles that women play in wearing different hats, and then of course there's the end where we talk about giving back and doing some good, which is a big part of Remind and a big part of what women do.
You know, when Bob was first injured, it looked very bad, of course, and you saw him in person. We see some photographs. The injuries were horrific. There was concern that he would never fully recover, but he seems to be doing amazingly well.
He's doing amazingly well. He was just in Iraq and Afghanistan.
How did you feel about him going back?
I know. I wrote a blog about it on my website. You know, I knew that he would, and everybody says, but you said he couldn't go back. And I said, no, he couldn't go back to a war zone. But there's a part of Bob, and you know Bob, Greg, he just, as a journalist, he wanted, I think, to go back and tell the stories that were there to show that the story didn't get the best of him. And you know, it was really important for him to go back. And he did it with the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Couldn't have been safer. I definitely slapped my parameters on this one.
He's back in the country, safe and sound.
He's back.
All
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And next he'll go to someplace really calm, like North Korea.
Absolutely.
He's done some really,
absolutely.
Again, tell me about Remind.org. Our viewers can go there.
They can go to Remind.org and tweet to Remind. And actually, I'm headed to Chicago to the Blog Her conference, sponsored by Pepsi, to talk about Tweet to Remind and ways that women can get involved in giving back. So I want, you know, log on, go to Remind.org. You can help. It's easy. You don't have to give a lot of time or a lot of money. Every little bit.
Lee Woodruff from Remind.org, the author of Perfectly Imperfect, and wife of a great journalist, Bob Woodruff. Give him our best, and thank you so much.
I will. Okay. Thanks for having me.
And we're going to put your website, if you don't mind, on our website,
I'd be honored.
myfoxny.com. We could use the traffic as well.